So we are talking about my favorite thing tonight, which is factual-based disputes, and this is a very, very, very important video. So don't just watch 1 minute of it, don't just watch 5 minutes, watch all the way until the end, because I promise you this is something you don't know. I promise you this is something that you don't know. Now, just as a side note, please, 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 if you can, if it's feasible, if it's within your means, please stay home. Even if you live in an area that is no longer locked down, or that, they're lifting restrictions and everything, please stay home. Not to sound like Jerry Springer or the dude on the news, but take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And the only way that you can do that is by taking precautions, okay? The only way that myself and my husband and my children are fine is that we have been proactive instead of reactive. And we have been prepared for this for quite a while. As soon as we found out about it, we got prepared, because obviously we knew that it was going to come over here, okay? So putting that to the side, that is all I wanted to say about that. We are talking about factual-based disputes and the stuff that you don't know. The stuff that you don't know is stuff that you need to know to get your deletions. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of you incorrectly think that factual-based disputes are just super simple. You're just looking for the stuff that doesn't match on your credit report, and that is not true. If that were true, then my 5-year-old or my 2-year-old or my husband or my sister would be able to do it. And while my husband is my content manager, he cannot do it because he doesn't know, the language and the law and all that kind of stuff. And you need to know that to get factual dispute results, okay? So what I'm talking about is, you're not saying pursuant to this and pursuant to that, and this is the reason why that account needs to be removed because I'm going to sue you, and this is my third attempt at, attempting to remove this negative item, and you've, been ignoring me and all that kind of stuff. You're not saying all of that. You're, obviously simply using the formula, which is telling them the reason that you're writing the letter, what you are disputing, and the reason that you're disputing it, and what you want to happen. I want it to be deleted. I want it to be corrected. You need to remove this late payment, whatever it is. But there's a step further, and this is the step that you need to pay attention to. So whatever you're doing, unless you're driving, obviously, whatever you're doing, please pay attention to me right now. Please pay attention to me right now. So yes, I ramble, yes, I go out off on tangents and everything, but I'm not reading from a script. I'm doing this with my notes that are in my head and the stuff that I wrote on the board, and that's it. Okay, so I'm very, very passionate about what I do. I love helping people, and I'm sure that does come across, unless this is the first video that you're watching of mine. But I try to make things in order. So the things that you need to understand are, yes, we are using the law. Yes, we are using the law. So if there is not a law that supports it, then you are not going to get a deletion. You might, but it's probably going to be months and months and months of unnecessary work that you could have been where you already need to be. You could have gotten your 25, point score increase or whatever, right? But you waste time because you're not disputing correctly. You don't understand that you have to use the elements and the language that embody the law that you're citing. I'm going to say that one more time. You must use the elements and the language that embody the law that you're citing, okay? So in this example, we're using portfolio recovery, all right? So we have portfolio recovery. We don't need an account number because that's irrelevant, but normally it would be something like 517-805. We're going to say that they have a past due listed. This is a collection account. They are a debt buyer. So some of you might know what I'm about to say. Past due 500, limit 500, and you have late payments on 12/18, 3/19, 4/19, and 5/19. Now, I'm sure that some of you could tell me what's wrong with that, but I'm going to tell you not only what is wrong with it, but where the law is and how we use this to get our deletions. Because remember, you have to use the elements and the language that embody the law that you're citing. So you have to know that there's an actual law that exists to use this to get it removed. You can't just guess. You can't just assume. You can't just use common sense to say, oh, well, that looks incorrect. I guess I'm just going to dispute it. Because I can't tell you, and yes, this is a tangent, but I can't tell you how many times people call me and they're like, well, I disputed this, because that's one of my questions. Like, have you disputed before? If so, how did you dispute it? Or, how did the company dispute it or whatever? And they're like, oh, well, I sent out a 609. Right? And I also stated that this charge off needs to be removed because it's charge off and there's a balance. No, dude, there's a balance because you didn't pay it. So yes, that's correct. And you just lost however much time that you took, in between you disputing and obviously the time for preparation and now, okay? So the entire point is to not lose time. Yes, this is a process. Yes, they have 30 days for investigation. Yes, they can add an additional 15 days for additional information. Yes. This is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, all that kind of great stuff. But you are going to end up wasting time that you do not need to waste by disputing incorrectly, okay? So pay attention, please pay attention. Portfolio recovery, why is this incorrect? It's incorrect because there's a past due on a collection. Dude, it's a collection. Obviously, it's past due, right? A collection cannot have past due or late payments. And furthermore, it shouldn't have a limit. It's not a credit card. There's no credit. What? Why is there a limit on there? Why is there a limit on there? There shouldn't be a limit, okay? Shouldn't be a past due. Should not be late payments. So let's just take limit out of there, all right? So let's just take limit out of here and look at this right here. Okay, so now we just have past due and we have late payments, okay? So the FCRA states that late payments cannot report on a collection because collections are closed-ended, unlike revolving accounts that are not closed-ended, okay? So it cannot have a past due. It cannot have late payments. So when you go and dispute it using the elements in the language that embody the law that you're citing directly from the FCRA without stating, pursuant to section 1681, pursuant to section 611, pursuant to section 609, pursuant to section 604, pursuant to section, you don't have to state any law. That is not your job. You are not an attorney. I mean, unless you are, right? You always hear me say that, unless you are. Even so, you are a regular person. You need to dispute as such, but using the language and the elements that embody the law that you're citing, which in this case would be the FCRA. In the FCRA states that you cannot have late payments on there. So this is what your dispute would look like. Portfolio recovery account number 517805 or such. Delete this account because you report late payments on X date, X date, X date, and X date. Nowhere does it say that pursuant to some law in the FCRA, you're required to remove this account within 30 days of receiving my dispute due to the fact that blah, blah, blah. You're not saying any of that. Oh, and furthermore, if this is not removed within X period of time, I'm going to sue you for X amount of dollars for X violation and blah, blah, blah. You're not saying any of that. And if you do, you're making a huge, huge, huge mistake. You are not an attorney. You don't speak like an attorney. Okay, the entire point here is that you need to only dispute things that you know there is a specific law that upholds you asking for this correction or deletion. And you don't want to go general, because you can go general, right? That the FCRA states 3 things. And I think I have marker on my fingers. Yes, I do. The FCRA states 3 things: that an account must be accurate, complete, and verifiable. However, if you remember my last video, I let you know that Metro 2 states only one thing: inaccurate. So if you're looking at inaccuracy and you're looking at an account and you're saying, oh, well, Experian says this and TransUnion says this and Equifax says this, and the open date says 5/1 on here, the open date says 5/15 on here, and blah, blah, blah. You might get a deletion, but if you know me and you go back to like 2017, and I might put a video somewhere for 2017 referencing the video in my editor when I go back and edit this, you will notice that guys, you gotta listen to me. You gotta listen to me. You have to be very, very specific. You have to know the law that you're talking about. You can't just go out and fish. You can't just put your hook out there and, you know, your rod, your whatever. I don't fish, so I don't know. And you can't just go fishing for a deletion. You have to be spot on and say, this is what I'm going for. This is the exact coordinates. This is the exact blah, blah, blah. And you put it in, you get your fish, you go home and you cook it, you feed your family. Hopefully it's a big one. You're not just casting it out and hoping that the thing that you're asking for is going to come to fruition, because that doesn't happen. If you don't understand the hierarchy, if you don't understand the process, if you don't understand how investigations work, if you don't understand how you're supposed to dispute things, you're not going to be successful. And the one way to be successful, besides not using templates and using facts directly off your credit report, is knowing how that information from your credit report is actually going to be interpreted by this computer that reads your letter, right? So that's an entirely different video and goes with the investigation videos. But remember, a computer is reading your letter and it needs to change your dispute reason into a 2 or 3 digit code. It's all about automation. Once again, another video, right? But the computer needs to understand what you're saying, and when it can interpret using the elements in the language that embody the law that you're citing, then you have a greater chance that your thing is either going to be shot over to a human for whatever reason, which would be great, or that it's going to be turned into a specific 2 to 3 digit code to be sent over to the collector or creditor, and then it will be then deleted for inaccuracy. Okay, so sorry to burst your bubble, but there is no person that opens your mail and takes the time and reads it and says, oh, well, Bob sent the letter, and, Bob says that, pursuant to section blah, 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 that this account needs to be removed. And, oh, my God, because they know their law, we definitely have to remove this. So, we need to remove this account and this account and this account. And it doesn't matter that it totals $150,000. No, we need to remove it. And we're also going to make it so that he doesn't have to pay it. No, it doesn't work like that. Maybe in a perfect world and all that kind of stuff, there's no automation and, everybody's like all buddy-buddy and all that kind of stuff. But we don't live in a world like that. You have to understand the world we live in right now. If businesses that have perfect credit cannot go out and get their loans that they need to pay their employees so that those employees can pay their rent and feed their children, then why do you think that after screwing up your credit, whether small or large, that you are going to be able to go and easily screw over the system again by fixing your credit overnight and doing it all over again? It doesn't work like that. And no, I am not judging you. I am not judging you. I have been in this position before, but mine was way worse. And I can say this with a lot of confidence. My credit was way worse than yours either is currently or was, okay? So I understand. I've been there, and that's why I can say these things, because I'm saying it to help you, okay? So unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. There's a process to this, and this process, this investigation process, this entire system was designed to have you fail. And what I'm saying is that the bureaus are nothing but a complaints department. They receive 10,000 letters per day per bureau. Okay, obviously do the math. 10,000 letters per day per bureau. Yours doesn't go to the top of the pile. Yours doesn't go ahead of the 10,000 letters that they received the day before or the day before that or the day before that. Yours doesn't go directly to the VIP department because you're not the president. You're also not, on America's freaking top 5 FBI, most wanted list, and you're also not Jay-Z and Beyonce. You get what I'm saying? So you're not going to go have a human. It's going to go to a computer. The computer's going to read it and attempt to, interpret it. If it can, it'll turn it into a 2 to 3 digit code, and you want it to interpret it correctly. You also don't want to receive a letter from the Bureau saying that we cannot understand the nature of your dispute, okay? So this is why this is very, very, very important. The bureaus are first going to tell you, we don't understand, you didn't send your identification, you know, blah, 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 stall tactic, stall tactic, stall tactic, stall tactic. But eventually, they're going to do their job because they have to. And this is going to be after you've banked those months and you have the proof, and you've got proof of your violations, and you have your dispute letters, and you're going to be able to say, hey, look, I did this, and this. Now I'm taking it to the next level because I have exhausted all of my remedies. Okay? And I have another video that specifically goes over that. I have exhausted all my remedies, and now I need to take it to the next level, right? And you don't get there by doing all of this. Section 623, Section 611, Section 609, 1681, 605. All right, you need to exhaust your remedies to be able to get to success. And it's the same with the court system. It's the same with child support system. It's the same with all those other systems out there that are designed for you to fail. But this is even more so with credit, right? Because the bureaus know that all they have to do is piss you off enough, ignore you enough, push you off enough, scare you enough, and you're going to go away. Because you don't have the patience, because we live in a microwave society. They know that that's all they have to do to make you go away, and it works. I see it all the time. Even with my own clients. I actually have articles in my knowledge base that goes over this because so many people get so frustrated. And it's like, dude, this is not an easy thing. Anything in life that is worth having is not simple. It is not simple, and especially right now when you need your credit. There are people that are hungry, that are losing their homes, that can't feed their children, that are worried about every single thing under the sun financially and health-wise, and people are dying and all of that. Why would it be easy to fix your credit? Right now, it's imperative to fix your credit, to have your credit, to be able to fall back on something. I bet you wish you had not screwed up that $500 credit card or that $200 credit card, because it would come in handy right now, right? But the bureaus know this. They know that you are impatient. They know you're not going to see it through. They know all of this, and they use it against you because this is designed for you to fail. And if you don't understand that, then, you know, all I can do is continue to make these videos and, you know, to explain the process even more to you, because I guess that's just what I do. I'm here to help you, all right? So the one thing that you need to take out of this, the one thing that you need to understand is that factual-based disputes only work when they use the elements in the language that embody the law that you're citing. If there is not a specific law that upholds the deletion or correction of an account, it's not going to happen. You do not get it by just saying, this and this is not the same. It's not the same, so it needs to be removed because it's not the same. See, I didn't realize that back in 2016, back in 2017, and even in 2018, that I wasn't explaining this correctly, right? I had to understand the way that my viewers and my subscribers understand it for me to be able to help you guys, because obviously it makes sense to me, but just because it makes sense to me doesn't mean it's going to make sense to you, okay? That's why I have a content manager who tells me that, dude, that doesn't make any sense. You have to explain it better. You have to break it down. And that is what I'm doing. All right, so that is the end of this video. You have to, it is imperative. It is imperative for you to get to your success, to understand this information. All right, so next time that you go and write your disputes, make sure that you are disputing something that, number one, is the biggest ammo that you have available, and that number two, there is something that specifically, yes, I'm saying it like 10 times so that you understand that it's important, is going to be citing a law without saying it, right? That's going to get your deletion. That's all I'm saying. That's all I am saying. Okay. So I took up, I don't know how many minutes, because I can't see my camera from right here, but however long that took, I hope I explained this. I hope it makes sense. And if it doesn't, maybe you'll get it on throughout the next 300 videos that I make. All right. So that is it on this video. My name is Kristen. Make sure to watch one of the other videos that pop up on your screen somewhere. And if not, schedule a call with me to see if I can help you. Not an advice call, but to take over your file. All right. And there's also a bunch of videos for you to watch if you have questions on the actual program. All right, guys, I will see you later.